Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking about our classroom flip today for the 100th day of school. So if you would share with your followers, we would be so appreciative. Okay, so go ahead and turn this around. All right. Okay. Hello.
Hi guys.
So we're Michelle and Linda. We're from Kinderbrations on social media and on TPT.
And everybody all day has been asking us if we're the Blues Brothers. And no, we're secret agents. Can't you tell?
Hello, hello. All right. So first of all, we wanted to start with, we wanted to talk about our inspiration. And I talked about this a little bit earlier. But just Hope King at Elementary Shenanigans, and Kim Bearden and Chris at Famous and First have just really inspired us to start flipping our classroom and tying all of that to the content that we're going to be teaching. And so we're going to talk about how we did that with 100th Day today. So, all right, so I'm going to...
So we're going to start by showing, well, first of all, just tell you that we saw Hope's blog on how she did a spy lab. And we kept thinking, okay, how can we take our kindergarten content and this idea of 100th Day and turn it into a spy lab? So we've been thinking about it and planning for it for the last couple of months and getting really excited, and it happened today. So we're excited to share it with you. So we're going to start, we're just going to walk through things, and we're going to start with what the kids were met with when they got here this morning. So we'll head outside.
Okay.
And I'll grab my keys so we don't get lost out.
Good, good. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. So when they arrived this morning, we had these footprints. These are vinyl footprints leading up to our classroom. And the whole premise of today was that Evil Agent 99 has taken Zero the Hero to court our 100th day. So this is what they saw when they got here.
And you don't have to do vinyl footprints. You can cut them out of, you can to get some clip art and blow it up and cut it out and just tape it down, or you got a silhouette or cameo or construction paper or whatever.
We got our evidence boxes. Okay, and then they saw this ransom note.
And we found that, I just typed in like ransom note generator into Google, and that popped a whole bunch of different sites, and you could go in there and type it in, and you can adjust the fonts and colors and all that good stuff. When we printed it, it was black and white, but if we would have just emailed it to ourselves, it had all the colors and everything. It looked great.
Yeah, okay. So,
I'm
going to show this.
So, as the kids were lining up this morning, they had to be scanned, and we had a bunch of parents. We had asked some parents to help us because we had both classes come this morning, so we had 50 kids out here. But so we just put this free app. It's like if you just type in fingerprint scanner, again in the app store, there's all kinds of free apps. But it's pretty cool. So you can have it deny them or accept them, but you just put your finger on it, and it shows it's scanning. And it tells it it's complete, and then it's analyzing, it's identifying, it's verifying. And then this time I was access denied, and I've got the sign timed up. But if you just click on this little silver bar, and the kids never knew if they're going to be denied or not, because it's real, you just like click on this beforehand, and then when you put it in,
They thought it was so cool, and every kid had to be scanned, so that's why we had so many parents helping us. But before they could come in, that was the first thing that we had to do.
License granted.
All right.
Welcome.
It said, welcome agents, and then we came in. Okay. So, okay, I have to apologize for our room. Janitor hasn't been here yet, but we looked at Hope King's blog, Elementary Shenanigans, and she gave great tips. This is white yarn and black lights, and we had, we'll talk about a little bit more about it, but we used 3 black lights. The black lights, they worked really well. I think for the size of our room, we needed probably one more.
Yeah, our room's about 30 by 36, and we have a 4-foot light and 2 2-foot lights. And like I said, we need one more. We don't know if we need one more 4-foot light or a couple more 2-foot lights. We're still trying to figure it all out. And you can order those on Amazon or get them I think you can get them at Walmart for $10, somebody said.
Okay, so then we had them come to the carpet, and this was playing. And we want to talk a little bit about this.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of new to putting things together on PowerPoint, but I learned how to save, and I learned how to embed like a YouTube video into a PowerPoint so that even if you did have internet, it would play. I just used something called YouTube NIN. It's mv4.com.
And yeah, we had both classes come today. We ended up doing 8 stations that they rotated through, and we did 4 inside and 4 outside, so it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah, we never had more than 24 kids in the classroom at a time, which is normal.
Okay.
So we just started by, and I'm not going to show you everything, but we just started at first when they walked in. We had a little little countdown going on with Mission Impossible music playing. So that was cool. I just kind of counted it down, and so that was fun. And they're all sitting on the carpet, they're mesmerized watching the clock go around. And then after that, we just showed a video a template that we downloaded. I think it was called Call of Duty template or something like that.
Yeah,
a free template. And then we found
like a voice changer. A voice
changing app. So we found a picture of a spy lab, and then we've got a free app on. We both have iPhones and MacBook Pros, but there was a free app called, I think it's called Voice Changer, right?
Yeah.
And so Michelle just recorded it. We did it on the. We used right here under the media, and this is all probably stuff you guys know. To us, it was new, but
we were like, woo!
Okay. So on the media tab, we just recorded our own audio, and then Michelle did it on her phone. She was recording on her phone. We wrote a little script, and then we put it through that voice changer, and then we did it old school. We hold the phone up to the mic.
There's much more technical ways to do this, but
this is our way of doing it because we're just learning. So this is what the voice changer sounded like.
Welcome, secret agents. We have a dire situation. Zero the hero has been kidnapped. Without him, there can be no 100th day of school. We received a ransom note this morning outlining the kidnapper's demands.
So you get the idea.
Dear agents, I know you are looking forward to 100th day, but that will never happen. I have kidnapped Zero the hero, so you will never get your zeros. You will never get to 100 without him. I have left 11 clues, but I am sure you won't be able to complete the tasks in order to get them. Enjoy day 99 over and over and over and over again. Sign the evil Agent 99. Agents.
So it goes on to ask them if they're ready to accept the mission and do they think they can complete all the missions. And then they all agreed. And then at that point, they had to go to their stations so that they could be certified as agents. And the PowerPoint continued. We got some background photos and some pictures, so that played all along. And then we had missions throughout the day, so we can talk about that later as we go on.
Okay. So then they had to get certified as agents. Where did it go? Oh, okay. So we made these little secret agent badges, and then they had to put their thumbprint here. So everybody wore a secret agent badge. We got these cheap little plastic fedoras for all the kids. But you wouldn't have to do that, but we thought that was kind of fun. And then we put them in groups by, because all this was black light and glowing and everything, we sorted them by groups by a different color glow bracelets. And
on the stamp pad, we heard a couple things that you could use a regular stamp pad or even just a pencil and stick your finger, rub pencil on a paper and stick your finger, and that makes a good print too.
Yes. And then each agent was given a case file, and then inside the case file were all of the different activities, so that they could just carry these with them to every group to keep it together. So,
and some were recording sheets for activities they did, and then other things were actual activities.
yeah, so we had 4 recording sheets, and then 4 were activities.
And then around the room we had, the tables were covered in black. We had evidence tags. Again, we bought these very easy to make. We had crime scene tape. We had evidence tape that we had on boxes. You can see we had bankers boxes laid around. But again, all stuff that you could just type out on the computer, cut out, print, and glue on. We also had, because it was pretty dark in here with the black lights and all the strings and stuff, we had these little push lights. We happened to get them at Walmart. They were four for $3.96 or something like that. And we had those at all the tables where the kids were working. About I think we had 3 on every table. I think if we did it again, we'd probably have 1 for every kid.
Yeah. And then what? Oh, and then outside, one of our activities where they had to make 10 in 10 frames. They had to do it 10 times to make 100. And so we used this spray paint outside in our grass, and we spray painted 10 frames out there.
We've been told that you as soon as they mow the grass, it'll go away, so we won't get in trouble.
Yeah. And then on each table, we had, this was the confidential file on each table, and then it had the directions. So the parents we had a parent at every table, or us, and we would read this to them, what their mission was. And then when they would complete a mission at the end, when it was time to rotate, we had this envelope here, it was top secret, and they got a different clue. So they had 11 clues. Well, they had 8 clues, and then we threw in 3 more things where they had to stop what they were doing and then complete a mission. Like they had to either count to 100 or count by 10s to 100, doing sneaky spy moves, whatever. And then they earned
another clue.
Another clue.
And the clue in this case were just words. And we'll show you at the end what happened to that. We ended up using just plastic sheeting to cover up all of our windows and stuff to make it dark enough. This was a roll, I think it was 50 feet, 4 millimeters thick at Walmart for under $10. And then Hope King had suggested even plastic bags. Just squirt your windows with a spray bottle and stick up plastic garbage bags. This was actually cheaper than the bags we were looking at. And then we had those evidence boxes everywhere. The banker's boxes with evidence tape on it everywhere.
And then this is for kindergarten, but you could also adjust. I mean, the possibilities are endless. We were just going to show you a few of the stations that we did for kinder. So, okay, I'm going to start here. So this was our, it's actually hot on the trail mix. We saw it on Pinterest, but I realized later that I did hit the trail mix. But anyway, they had some spy potion and pop rocks to make it, to add explosives to it. And then they, on a little grid, they had to count out 10 of each snack item. And then they made their little mix.
And we got this at just a little trip. We got this at Tip. We got this at the dollar store, and then we just had the parents put the stuff in there, and then after they got their hand sanitizer and stuff, they pulled out their 10 items.
Yeah. Okay. And then this was, oh my gosh, this was one of their most favorite centers. So this is just if the kids needed it, but they were writing to 100, but we found these invisible ink pens. And so they had to write their numbers to 100, and then this, I don't know if you can you can't see. Oh, yeah, there you go. Anyway, it's a little black light on the end, and they were so engaged with this.
So we had a little kid after school writing on this one, so I don't know if you can see where he wrote. It's probably not dark enough, but with it being black light in here, so it was really cool. They're very, very engaged. And then the parent at the station had this flashlight to help. And then that cracked the code. You know, we had kids that never looked at it, and then we had kids that wrote almost every, one and then copied it almost. So just trying to differentiate it for them.
Okay, and then we did
our
fingerprint science.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun as well. We their first part of their mission was to collect fingerprint evidence, and the first thing they did was we had we made a QR code that linked to a 2-minute video on fingerprints. See if I can pull it up. And so they have used QR codes before, but it was one more chance to work with a small group one at a time to make sure that they knew how to do it. And so we just have a QR reader on here. We're very lucky to have iPads thanks to Donors Choose. But well, the kids can do it, but I can't do it.
I think it's there. Yeah.
Anyway, it just links to a 2-minute video on fingerprints, and it explains loops and whirls and swirls, and they were all very engaged with that. And then we had taken last night, took some plastic cups, covered our hands with lotion. We were told that was the way to do it, and then just grabbed all over the cup. And then we talked about lifting fingerprints, and they talked about being careful with the evidence in the evidence bag and only touch the rim. And then we used these makeup brushes from the Dollar Tree and put some baby powder in a little Glad container. And we showed them how to get a little baby powder, or a little fingerprinting dust, and tap it off and then lightly brush it. And they were so excited to see the fingerprints. And then they looked at them with their magnifying glass, and then we put a piece of packing tape over the best fingerprint, put it on there. Be careful not to rub the fingerprint itself, lifted it off, and then put it on a black piece of construction paper so that they could see it. And then we just clipped it into their folder.
Okay. And then when we were outside, they were making 10, so they would roll dice. We had these big, giant blow-up dice. And then we got these little, I mean, you could use anything, but I found these little mini Frisbees that we used as counters. So they used those outside to put in 10 frames to show that they had to make, show 10 different ways to make 10. Up to 100 to solve that mission. Then we did a minute to win it, and either they had to use 100 items or they had to do something in 100 seconds. So we had, we had 100 gumballs. How fast can you get 100 gumballs through? Here's our evidence. How fast can you transfer 100 pieces of evidence? They had to stack 100 pennies.
Yeah, how many pennies could you stack in 100 seconds? And then Post-it notes. These little Post-it notes, believe it or not, come in a stack of 100, just like that. And so,
this was one of their favorites.
Yeah, so they just covered their partner with the 100 Post-it notes.
Yeah.
And then we had a very good parent there that took them all off and put them so we could use them again.
Yeah.
So no waste. And we called that Mission 100 because everything had to do with
100.
100.
Yeah. And then we had bought, and a lot of the stuff we buy things to do centers with anyway, so a lot of the stuff like the dice and these bowling pins and everything we already had, so we just thought of a way to use it with making 100. So they did a STEM activity where they had to stack to build a tower, and that had to be able to support 100 pennies, and then they had to bowl to 100, so they had to go outside. We had bowling pins set up, and they rolled a big ball, and
we made sure, we wanted to keep the content. It's fun to roll a dice and put Frisbees and to go bowling for 100. But we wanted to make sure that we kept the content there as well. And we did it for 100's Day, but you could almost celebrate any day by doing that. So on the Frisbees, when they roll the dice and they got a 5, and we also did it with 2 dice too, so they'd roll the dice and get a couple numbers. And you can tape off the 6 if you want to, but always the first die they rolled was yellow, so they would put the yellow counters on, and then they would color in that many circles, and they talk about how many more it made to make 10. Then they would put the red ones down there and color in the red. And one of the moms out there with one of the groups who's also a teacher, but she was saying, oh, and we're going to do the math problem too. So like 4 yellow and 6 red make how many? And so they're doing the math problem as well. And then with the bowling for
100, it's like bowling, race to 100.
Yeah. And they just, thank you. Sorry. So they just had this recording sheet, and so as the kids were rolling, they took, rolled the ball down and knocked over how many pins they knocked over. They just kept track of that after the whole group went, and then color in that mini. So, oh, you had 1, you had 2, 1 and 2, and so we were trying to tie that content as well.
And then I think one other one was they had these little bags of evidence, well, we put them in evidence bags, but they were just that magnify it concept. So they had base 10 blocks, and it was numbers up to 100, and they had to magnify it to figure out what number it was, and then find the corresponding letter on the recording sheet.
And then write the number. So I think that's it. The room was really simple to decorate. Like I said, evidence boxes with some, banker's boxes with some evidence tape across it, black plastic on the windows, and yarn. And we got it from Hope, where you take, did you say where you take 6 strings?
Yeah.
And hook it up to one section and just pull it. And we just did that a few times around the room.
Oh yeah. Oh, we forgot to talk about this part. So anyway, so then they got these clues, and at the very end, when we were all done, we had these all mixed up, and they had to put it together to make a sentence, and it was, "You will find Zero the hero where apples and oranges grow." And we have a orchard on campus that excuse me, that our second grade team, I believe, has planted. So we got to talk about that because a couple of the kids knew about that. So we went and we found an evidence box, and in the evidence box we had a little secret agent spy kit for them with some explosives, pop rocks, and just a couple little things. And then, yeah, that's where you saw us. We were finding Zero the hero, but he doesn't like to be seen, but he left a little something for us.
Since we had rescued him and saved 100th Day, we got our 100th Day treat.
Yeah, so anyway, that was our flip for 100th Day, and it was awesome. The kids were so engaged and just excited to see.
It was good. We had no behavior problems whatsoever because they were so engaged with every activity, just turning off lights and just a hanging string. And then we had one little guy that hardly ever talks at all, and he said it was a long day, but it was a great day. Yeah. So they all had a really good time. So
we actually, that's our goal this weekend, is to vlog and to put it on TPT.
Yep.
So we, yeah. So thanks for joining us. Thanks if you're watching the replay, and yeah, and we're gonna do another flip soon, and we will be posting about that as well. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.